If you look at some of the trends that have happened, especially in the oil and gas space, there's a lot of companies that have a lot of interest in buying cover that in the past really relied on some of the S&A coverage that's in their casualty towers. And now they're coming to the market looking for solutions, and we're able to provide them. On the Gulf Coast, a lot of the hospitality industry was really affected. And a lot of it had to do with the business interruption. I mean, folks are not going to come to the beach if they're going to be swimming in some oil muck, and obviously the press really drove a lot of that, and so that business income component is lacking in their policy. I mean, even if they bought a pollution policy and if they bought business income cover, it only covers an interruption if you have to clean up a pollution condition. And if you think about the beaches, they're not owned by a hotel typically. And so the trigger policy would have never been triggered. And so we developed a policy that gives contingent business interruption if a pollution condition gets within a certain radius of your facility. So within 10 miles or 15 miles, if there's pollution and you suffer that loss, you can get cover for it. So Deepwater brought that to the surface, and we were able to execute. And then we've just worked that into other policy forms. So that's one thing that's a direct impact. And I think the other thing is a lot of companies in the oil and gas space in general started to look at their contracts where they thought that the actual person that had the operational risk was covering them, and they realized after that happened, it was kind of like, no, it wasn't us, it was that guy. No, it wasn't us, it was that guy. And so they're starting to realize they need to get coverage for themselves, even if the entity that's doing the work or the primary entity is the one that's going to buy the insurance. Maybe it might not work out, and so that's been good for us too. Oil and gas is really a big segment for us. There's a lot of industry that's interested in it. Fracking has created kind of a groundswell of concern, which is an opportunity for us, and it's kind of across the board. So we're seeing opportunities from folks that you would normally think would have the exposure. They're over the well, they own the well, to the folks that are the investors in the wells. So we read a couple of insurance companies that they just have a non-operating interest in a well, but they're worried about the liability coming back. We write some large investment companies that have that. And then we also write the guys that actually do own the wells and are operating the wells, and all the folks around it, the guys that supply the fracking materials, guys that supply the drilling muds. It's a great industry to be in, and it's a growing industry, and there's definitely a need. So that's probably the number one trend that I see through this year, and I think continuing into next year.